everybody, to today's session of Junior Achievement New Jersey's Women's Future Leadership Academy. We are so happy to have all of you here, those that are joining us live via Zoom, and those of you who are watching the recording later. We know that many of you watch the recording later, and we are so glad that you are doing so. Before we begin, we just want to give a shout out to our program sponsors. It is because of these organizations that we are able to have this program again every week to students at no cost to your schools. So thank you to our sponsors, MetLife, Sanofi, CDW, Church and Dwight, Deloitte, CNBC, EY, Fidelity, Carney Bank, Merck, New Jersey Resources, Prudential, PSE&G, Valley Bank, and Wells Fargo. Thank you to all of you. And of course, thank you to our volunteers who are joining us today. Because of you, we were able to really take this program up a notch and inspire our students with your knowledge and your wisdom and your encouragement. So we hope that you continue to join us, students and volunteers. Students, we have some great sessions coming up. Next week, November 17th, we have Leading with Innovation. So if you'd like to learn how to kind of develop your creativity a little bit, that'll be a great session to join. December 1st is Women in STEM, but we're also going to be talking about the importance of having a growth mindset. So whatever, regardless of the career path you want to take, it really is an exciting session on December 1st. December 8th, we have our second executive career panel of the year. We had this last week and it was absolutely wonderful. We get together some really amazing women who have great stories to tell, who have overcome challenges and who have succeeded. And they're here to kind of share their stories with you and take your questions. So please join us December 8th for our monthly executive career panel. And then finally, we close out the year on December 15th with a special financial empowerment session with our friends from CNBC. So please join us at all of those sessions, students. We hope to see you there. If you want to find out more information or how to register, go ahead and visit our website there, janjacademy.org. That's when you can get all the information about upcoming sessions and how to register. So other things that you can do, students, if you would like to continue to build your leadership skills with Junior Achievement, we hope you do so. There are so many more things that you can do in addition to attending our sessions. First, you can earn JANJ's Digital Badge for Career Readiness. Digital badges are very cool because it's something that you can put on your LinkedIn page or your resume or your college applications. And it really tells the reader that you do indeed have these career readiness skills. So it's a really great micro-credential to have. We hope that all of you earn it. All you have to do is attend or view 5 or more sessions of the Women's Future Leadership Academy. Complete a survey, which is very simple, and submit a final project. Again, we make it very easy for you. There's no due date. You can earn it anytime throughout the year. Also, you can become a WFLA, Women's Future Leadership Academy, Student Ambassador. We have a team of about 15 student ambassadors so far. They are all absolutely amazing young women, and we would love to have you join them. So please feel free to find out more information if you'd like to become a student ambassador. Right there at our website, janjacademy.org. We've had our ambassadors speak at our events, moderate panel discussions, and we are beginning something new. We've been talking about it for a while, and now we are ready to start. We're going to have small career-specific committees, and we're going to start it off with a marketing committee. So if you're interested in sales or marketing or social media, this is a really great committee for you to consider being a part of. We'd love to have you, students. It's open to all students who have participated in the Women's Future Leadership Academy. And you're going to be working with our marketing person here at JA, learning a little bit about marketing and then doing a project, sort of like an intern position. So information about that is forthcoming, but if you'd like to become a student ambassador or earn that career readiness badge, just go on over to our website and you can find out information about that. Still admitting people to the room. Okay, so moving right along. Again, if you are just joining us, please feel free to say hello in the chat room. If you haven't done so already, we're so glad that you're here, and we've got a really great agenda ahead for the next hour. So We're going to start. I'm Christy Biedron, Director of Education with Junior Achievement. We have an amazing guest speaker who has joined us today, Amanda from Honeywell. I'm going to turn it over to her in just a moment. Then we are going to go into breakout sessions where you'll get an opportunity to create your own elevator pitch. So if you've joined us before in the past, you may have already created an elevator pitch. If that is the case, you can update your elevator pitch or practice it. Certainly, as we go through different experiences, we have cool things to add to our pitch. So if you've already done a pitch, you can certainly add to it this time. And our volunteers, this is an opportunity for you to start thinking of your elevator pitch as well. Maybe you have one, maybe it needs to be updated a little bit, but this will be a great breakout session that we're going to do later after our opening speaker and some information. So that will be very enjoyable. And then about 6 o'clock, we'll bring it all back together again, as we always do, for closing remarks. But without further ado, I would like to turn it over to our speaker for today. We'd like to give huge thanks to Dr. Amanda Josie from Honeywell, who has agreed to join us today and talk a little bit about her experiences and her knowledge on what it takes to be a good networker. So on that note, Amanda, I turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Christy. Wow, you guys are doing phenomenal things in this program. So congratulations to all the students and all the volunteers that are really supporting and being active in this program. I wish I had something like this when I was younger to really participate in. It's amazing. So thank you all. Thank you all for your time today. As Christy introduced, I'm Amanda Josie. I work at Honeywell. I have a position which is called Director of Global Procurement. And my job really every day technically is to buy raw materials for our business called Fluorine Products, which basically we do ingredients that go into air conditioning. So if you are in a car and you enjoy your nice air conditioning, or at home, usually you have Honeywell products that are really helping you stay nice and cool. So I'm a chemist by training, and I've spent the last 14 years in the chemical industry. I've worked in sales, marketing, research and development, as well as procurement. And a key thing I want to share with you today is about 5 of my 8 jobs I've had since I started working came from networking. So it was really about getting out there, meeting my colleagues, practicing my elevator pitch, and trying to seek out where I want to go next in my career. And so this is why the topic is just very important to share and to talk about and work together. And it's not something that really just some people, maybe it may come easy to them, talking to different people, getting to know people, but really if you put some effort into, the way you network and kind of how you go about doing it, you'll find that it can bring you a lot of different opportunities in your career. Just wanted to share maybe a little bit more about myself. I am a chemist. I'm a PhD chemist by training. And when I interviewed for my first job out of school, it was required that I prepare an elevator pitch about my research and about what I wanted to do for my career. So you can imagine right off the bat, this was a critical skill that I had to have in order to interview. And luckily, I was able to get the role. But it was a very a learning experience for me, how to do that and how to be able to have the right points, because you don't really have a lot of time to explain. But basically, it's a good practice. Few other things about me. I'm a first generation college student. So when I, went to school, I didn't have parents that had gone to college before. So there was a lot of learning for me, like what to do and how to do it. And when I was job seeking, like what is corporate America like I didn't really have a lot of family that had that experience. So I really had to learn a little bit on my own, but I also used, programs in school, career development, et cetera, to help me learn more about the process and how to do it. I also want to share with you that I'm a chemist by training, so I really love science, but the passion that I have is really where science meets business. So where those two things come together, I like to think about, scientific topics, but I like to also help businesses turn that into a profit. So for me, I really enjoy it. And my role today really helps me do that. And on top of that, just from different opportunities I had through school, I had the opportunity to interact a lot with different cultures. And I really enjoy in my job bringing multiple cultures together to, find the right solution. So basically, on a day-to-day basis, I may start my morning on the phone with someone in Europe. I may end my day on the phone with somebody in China or India. And so I really enjoy, bringing different cultures together, finding, the path forward together. So that's a little bit about me. That's my elevator pitch. And I wanted to maybe walk through, I found some, I tried to find some information that you can also use the slide. There's a reference to this information, but there's a lot of articles out there, how to network, how to go about doing it, especially if you've never done it before. Hopefully you all are practicing it today. But to build confidence with networking, it's all about kind of the preparation and thinking about, what is really your goal? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to, just get in front of people, have them know you, be visible within a new organization? Are you trying to look for a job, a new area, or a new career? So it's really thinking about like, what are you trying to achieve? And most companies and schools will have opportunities for networking, and it's good to reflect on that, before you go, so that you can kind of, set your key messages around that goal you're trying to achieve. A second thing, really to help build your confidence, and I'm sure you guys are great at this, but really dress to impress. Like put your best outfit on, something that makes you feel good. It will really help your confidence in talking to different people, getting to know them as well. And then, it's really important that when you're meeting people that you leave impression and a way for people to get in touch with you after. So, it's recommended that you bring business cards, print up some cards with your name on them, to leave something with them, along with the lasting impression that you're going to make. So all of these things are important to get ready for that networking event. And while you're in the networking event, one of the hardest things for me to do is really kind of remember names. And so I do things to kind of practice my introduction. And usually when somebody tells me their name, I'll repeat it. And then in my mind, I try to think of using their name like once or twice in the conversation, so that it helps me really, really remember the person's name. And the other important thing is really to go into networking to kind of listen first and then speak. So encourage people to kind of talk to you or tell you things about themselves, and show interest and sincerity. Find out, what do you do for a career, or, kind of what are your interests, et cetera. It really helps you to, get that conversation going with some open-ended questions. Then the next step really is what we're going to focus on tonight, which is your elevator pitch. And we just say, really get to the point. Like, how do you have, what you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to, set as your goal in a few sentences that will be memorable, to the folks you're talking to, and really having them ready, because you never know when an opportunity may come up. And then finally, it also is good, especially in networking situations, to take some notes so you can go back and reflect on kind of what you learned as well. And then maybe the last step to think about is the follow-up. So if you connected with somebody, if you exchanged a card, it's really great to almost immediately go back and just send a short note. I really enjoyed talking to you today. I liked what you told me about X, Y, and Z, or I like learning about your career path. I'd love to, connect again, and talk about it. Or I like learning about this opportunity, at your company, and I'd like to follow up and maybe see if you have a few minutes to talk about it. If you can do these things immediately or shortly after meeting the person, that will also leave a very lasting impression on the folks that you're talking with as well. So I just wanted to kind of maybe summarize some points and things that I think about when I'm going into networking. And, also just maybe some other words of advice. You can think about time. Sometimes it feels like a big effort to do the networking, but I want to, share with you, it doesn't have to necessarily be a huge effort. You can think about times where, I'm going to eat lunch anyway. So maybe I try to reach out to somebody and meet a new person while I'm eating lunch. I would always tell my colleagues at work, within like a 6 months period, that's basically, maybe 100 times I can eat lunch with somebody, and everybody has to eat lunch. So it's a nice way to do some networking as well. So I'm really looking forward to working with you guys today on elevator pitches, and really appreciate the opportunity, and, wish you all the best in what you're working on as well. So thank you, Christy, for letting me say a few words up front. And I look forward to the breakout sessions and getting, into some discussions around elevator pitches. I really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you, Amanda, and thank you so much for such great information. And such important things. Listen first, then speak. It seems easy, but it's really not. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I think we're going to do a session probably next semester in January or February about how to be a better active listener, because it really is an important communication tool that'll help you in business or in your relationships or at school or anywhere. So I'm really glad you brought that up. And we thank you again for joining us and sharing your expertise. So students, if you have questions, we are going to go into our breakout rooms in a little bit with our volunteers. So please feel free to ask your questions to your volunteers when we go into those breakout rooms. There'll be plenty of opportunity because we have some really great volunteers who have joined. And speaking of volunteers, I would love to invite all of our volunteers. I'm going to talk a little bit about elevator pitch, but I would love to kind of open up the meeting to all of our volunteers who have joined. Before we go into the breakouts, if you have any thoughts about networking or any experiences that you might want to share, any advice that you might want to share about networking, we really would, we'd love to hear it from you, from our volunteers. So if you want to do that, I'm going to give you an opportunity in just a moment. We'd love to hear from you. But before that, I just want to talk a little bit about elevator pitch, go into a little bit more detail about that. And again, we'll use the chat feature here. I'm just going to bring it up so I can see everybody's chats. So if you have questions or thoughts about elevator pitch, first of all, if you have an elevator pitch, students or volunteers, if you've already created an elevator pitch, I'd love to hear about it. Go ahead and say yes in that chat room. If you've already created an elevator pitch, I'd love to hear how many people already have one, or maybe you have one and you want to work on it a little bit more. So go post that there if you'd like in the chat room. But what is an elevator pitch? It is a brief, high energy presentation used by companies and individuals to promote their products and themselves. So a lot of times you'll see companies will have an elevator pitch or a tagline, and that really lets people know about the company, in a very brief way. Kind of highlights the company's uniqueness and what they do and what they stand for. So as companies have elevator pitches, we can all have them too, and it's a really great networking tool to have. And if you practice it, to Amanda's point, you're going to know what to say. Companies use elevator pitches to define their products or services or share their values and unique attributes. Elevator pitches are a way to get people excited about your company and what it has to offer to customers or potential employees. So what does that mean for you? Companies might ask their employees to prepare an elevator pitch as a living advertisement for their brand. Maybe some of our volunteers here know your company's elevator pitch, or you have an idea of what you might say if you want to share something brief about your company, something high level. A lot of times employees rehearse and use their company's elevator pitch to get their point across quickly. So we can create our own elevator pitch to present when you have an opportunity to network. It's an excellent way to focus on what you value and what you are good at. So does anybody know why it's called an elevator pitch? Why does the word elevator come into play here? If anybody knows that, go ahead and either unmute yourself and say it or post that in the chat room. We'll see if anybody knows why it is that way.
I have a guess.
Okay, go ahead. What do you think?
So I guess when you get on an elevator, it goes up. So you're kind of elevating your status or what people think of you. So you're pitching your ideas, therefore elevating your ideas, and people can build upon that.
Yeah, that is excellent. That is excellent and so true, because you are elevating yourself, and you're getting to that point. I think that's fantastic. Any other thoughts? There could be other ways that it might be called an elevator pitch.
I think. Oh, sorry.
Yep, we can hear you. Priya, were you talking?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Priya.
So I said it was I think it's called an elevator pitch because you don't have much time in an elevator. So if, let's say someone was trying to hire you and they were like next to you in an elevator, it would be awkward just not talking. So I think it's the best way to present yourself in the shortest amount of time.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a great way to present yourself in a short amount of time. You never know when you're going to have that opportunity to network. So it's good to be ready. You never know when you're going to meet that person that could help you. And it's a way to elevate yourself. I think it's got a dual meaning there. So love the ideas here that we're coming out with. So we can create our own elevator pitch to present when we have that opportunity to network. So sometimes it's hard to start from scratch. So this is a way that you can kind of think about what you might say. So imagine a dream job you would like to learn more about. So again, let's go back to that chat room. And I'd like to invite any of the students or any of the volunteers, if you've got a dream job that you haven't achieved yet, go ahead and post in there in the chat room, what is your dream job? Think about what your dream job is. And if you'd like, go ahead and post that in the chat room. Students and volunteers. So imagine that dream job. What would you really like to learn more about or maybe become one day? And then imagine that you are in a networking situation. Maybe you're at an event or you're at, you never know, it could be anywhere, at school, at the store, at an event, at dinner, in an elevator. And you meet someone who could hire you for your dream job or help you get to that place, help you reach your goals. So imagine that, kind of think about that, and then think about what you would say. These are some things to consider for your pitch. So students, this is some of the information that we're going to think about when we go into our breakout session. So again, if you have something in here that you want to share, you can go ahead and post that in the chat room if you want to answer one of these questions in the chat room, but certainly think about these questions right now, because we're going to go back to these. And volunteers too, if you want to think about this, and if any of our volunteers are joining, if you want to maybe take a picture of this, because these are some of the things that we're going to ask the students when we move into our breakout sessions in a moment. So these are some questions to consider. What matters to you? What are you good at? What do you have to offer a potential employer? What interests you? What do you want to be remembered for doing? If you asked a friend, how would he or she describe you? And then what is one thing people should know about you? So these are the things that you can include in your elevator pitch. You don't have to have everything in there, but these are some questions to kind of get you thinking about what makes you unique, what makes you amazing, because we're all amazing. And it's those things that make us unique, that set us apart. That's what we want to communicate, because that's what we want people to know about ourselves. So think about those answers. I'll give everybody another second to kind of look at this screen here and think about these questions. And if you want to post anything in the chat room, please feel free to do so. Okay, so this is the steps that we're going to take to create your own elevator pitch. So in your breakout rooms, create an elevator pitch to deliver that includes the following. And it doesn't have to include everything, but this is a good framework for that pitch. Obviously, we start with our name, the dream job you'd like to apply for or learn more about through volunteering, some skills or interests that you have that can contribute to the job. It doesn't have to be hard skills. So you could just say that you're a creative thinker, or that you work well with other people, or you're a good listener. And then something great about your personal brand that could leave a positive and memorable impression. And then finally, you end with some way to contact you or follow up with you. So if you'd like to learn more, you can find me on LinkedIn at Christy B. Drawn at LinkedIn. So that's kind of the framework of your pitch. So again, I'm going to leave this screen up here, but at this time, I would like to put it out here to our volunteers. We've got some great volunteers who have joined. So any of our volunteers, if you would like to share maybe your own words of wisdom or your own experiences or thoughts or strategies for networking, something that you've learned along the way, like we heard from Amanda, we're just going to have an open forum, and we invite any of you to go ahead and unmute yourselves and share your thoughts. If anyone would like to start.
Hey, Christy, it's Lisa DiDio. I can jump in here if you'd like me to.
Yeah, great. Hi, Lisa.
Hi everyone.
Welcome.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm really excited to be with all of you here. Just by you being here, like that's a step towards networking. So literally you are networking right now, which I think is amazing. So I applaud all of you for taking that initiative and being here tonight. And I just feel like networking, it's just, and it's an important skill no matter what your career path is, no matter what your experience level is. And really the main fundamentals is it's the ability to just make contacts and to build relationships. And think about like when you're in your sports activities, your part-time jobs, when you're with those people, you're technically networking all around you. So it's happening, even though you might not even know it's happening. And today, and when I began my career, networking was really all in person. Now, as you start networking, much of that is now going to be social. There's great ways to network with social media and meet people that way. So, just a few things I wanted to share from my perspective of networking, and really looking forward to a great session.
Well, thank you, Lisa. And just a side note, Lisa is a member of Junior Achievement's Board of Directors. So Lisa has been involved with JA for a long time and just dedicated to our organization and our students. So we thank you so much, Lisa, for everything you do for us and for participating today and for sharing your story. So thank you so much. I think, let's see, David, I think you might have had your hand up.
I do indeed. Can you hear me okay, Christy?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. We had some trouble last time, so I'm glad to see it's working okay. Sure. So I'd love to share two things, but firstly, just to really echo our previous speaker, and I'm sorry, what Lisa just said, and how important it is that you guys are here listening tonight and really absorbing one of the key fundamental business techniques that's so easy to so many of us and so obvious, and yet really is so important to everything that we do in the business world. And shout out to Amanda for a fantastic presentation. My particular situation, so I'll say two things. Number one, when it comes to networking in person, I am a little bit on the shy side. I know Ashish, who's my colleague from Horizon, might be a little surprised by that comment, but it is true. I'm a little more reticent about it and a little more uncomfortable about it. And part of networking, particularly in person, is about getting out of your comfort zone. And I think that that's something that's really important to think about, is that if you really want to get that dream job that Christy has up on the screen there, I think it's important to get yourself out of your comfort zone and try things that you might not normally be comfortable doing. The second thing I'll say, and Lisa touched on this, is that networking process through the tools that we have. And one of the key tools is LinkedIn. And I know Christy will probably touch on it at the end in terms of following up, but that is a great tool. And one of the best things is that I'll actually show you who works at your target company. I will simply share a very short story that in my current job at Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, when I was applying for the position, I really leveraged LinkedIn and managed to catch a fish with a particular person that was working there at the time that was enormously helpful and shared a lot of fantastic information on the people generously and willingly. I call him my angel, and shared a lot of information willingly on the people that I was meeting, the projects that I would potentially be working on, just the general culture at Horizon. And that is worth its weight in gold. You can't make that stuff up. And all that is through networking. So I can talk about that experience more in the breakout room if anyone wants to know, but that's just kind of a short example of how incredibly powerful networking is and why we should take it so seriously.
Excellent. Thank you so much, David, for sharing that. We appreciate it. Lisa, I see your hand up. We'll go to Lisa and then we'll go to Mary Catherine. So Lisa Bernadine, welcome.
Hi, thank you. I work with Fidelity, and I echo everything that you said, Lisa, Dito, and David. Networking is very important. And it is important to get out of your comfort zone. And I'm an introvert. But one way I do that, because I forced myself to network because I knew how important it was in order for me to make the career transition that I did. And eventually it did help me to get recognition and brand awareness with some very important people who were able to who actually turned out to be my future employer. So what I think about when I'm networking is that I'm learning something while increasing my brand. And if you think about it that way, just satisfying your curiosity about people, because I love meeting people, and in a sense where I love to learn about people, because there are so many things that we may look at on the outside that would make you think that we're all different. But then when you get to know someone and speak to them, you realize how much you have in common. And so I find that so interesting. So that's one of the drivers in why I network a lot, because you never know, I might have a hobby in common. We might have the same shows or watch the same series on Netflix, and or might binge on Netflix, do similar things, and it sort of unifies us in that sense. So it makes it easy to talk about those things. And then eventually the subject matter does come up. What do you want to do? Where you want to, but it's sort of like breaking the ice. So if you think of it in that approach, and it's just wanting to get to know someone and being curious about other people, I think it'll be easier to break out of your shell and get into networking that way.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lisa. We appreciate that. And yeah, sometimes networking, it makes you nervous. It's a difficult situation. So great strategies to kind of overcome that. We thank you for that. Mary Catherine, and then we'll turn it back to Juliana, and then Amanda and Kim. All right, Mary Catherine, welcome.
Thanks. So my name is Mary Catherine Donahoe. I work at Honeywell with Amanda, and Amanda and I have ironically crossed paths at 2 different companies. So talking about networking, that you never know where you're going to meet people. But much like Lisa and David, so the irony, you're going to have 3 people in a row that are telling you we're introverts. And networking makes me extremely uncomfortable, and yet I work in human resources and have to talk to people all day long. So what I'd say, I would echo what the others have said. It's practice. I think the listening component is very important, and get yourself comfortable with being uncomfortable. Put yourself in those situations, kind of take that deep breath, and you just have to try it, and you'll learn to refine your elevator pitch over time. You'll learn to refine your networking skills over time, because networking just opens up a world of opportunities. And you'll find as you kind of continue to go through schooling, internships, career, right? People are so willing to talk about themselves, their jobs. They will open doors for you. So, I just would echo what everybody else said. And while some people are very comfortable and it comes naturally, if it doesn't for you, it's okay. It may never, but it does get a little better. It gets a little easier. And just, continue to practice and ask for feedback. People will give you feedback as well, constructive, right? They want to help you be successful. So don't be afraid also, as we're practicing these elevator pitch, to ask for feedback as well.
Thank you so much for sharing. Juliana, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So my name is Juliana Bogatanaska, and I'm the Assistant BSA Officer over at Carney Bank. This is actually the very first time that I'm volunteering with Junior Achievement, so I'm so grateful for this opportunity. But I was definitely in, these students' shoes, before. I'm also a first-time first generation in my family to actually attend college, and also to obtain my MBA as well. So it's such a great accomplishment. But I also recommend, when you if there's any advisors in your school, getting their feedback, participating in career fairs as well. That opened up so many doors for me back in the day when I was obtaining my bachelor's degree, just going to those different career fairs. Now, because of COVID, there's probably career fairs, that are being done online. But I do want to point out, one book that really helped me back in the day, because just like many others on this call, I'm also a introvert, surprisingly. So one book that helped me was from Dale Carnegie called How to Win Friends and Influence People. So this book was recommended by a professor, so I read it. It was great. But one of the attributes in there is being a good listener. And a lot of these fellow volunteers here have noted that, that you have to be open to listening. And, many times people, don't want a entertaining conversation partner. Like they want someone to who would be able to listen to them. So so I recommend being a good listener, smile, be pleasant, come up with a few questions to ask. So those are just some pointers that I have.
That's great. And that is an excellent book, Juliana. I concur with you. It's timeless.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank
And I know Kim and Amanda, you have your hands up, but I think we should go to our breakouts so we have enough time to do elevator pitches. And then when we get back, I would certainly love to hear your thoughts, because both of you, I know Kim, you always have great things to share. And of course, Amanda. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start the breakout sessions. We have 3 different groups. There'll be a couple of volunteers in each group and a couple and some students. So really students, it's just going to be a guided conversation. Start thinking about some of these things that you might want to put in your elevator pitch. And then if you have time to finish it, that would be great. If you have time to get through it all and you'd like to share it at the end of your breakout sessions, you can. But really, volunteers, we're just going to coach students through some of these questions. If you don't have your handout, if you didn't receive a handout, volunteers, you can always just take a picture of this with your phone, and that way you can refer to it. But go, ask the students some of these questions and help the students figure out how to write an elevator pitch. And then we'll bring everybody back in right at 6, right before 6. And if any student makes an elevator pitch and wants to share it and practice it here, it's a great safe space to practice because no one's going to judge you here. And also, although we do not require cameras on, if you feel like you want to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, turn your camera on. Again, it's a great safe space to practice. So please go ahead and do that if you'd like. So simply follow the prompt on your screen for the breakout rooms. That will take you there, and we'll see you back here right before 6.